Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements, and in this video we are going to be reviewing Stowaway, which is a new Netflix movie that is a science fiction thriller film that is presented as a movie that has excruciating moral decisions. And whilst it does have this, the pacing, script and lack of action just unfortunately makes this movie really boring and really uninspiring as well. I mean, in its very nature it also deals with sacrifice as well, but it just doesn't build up its characters enough for you to actually care about them, which is just really disappointing, as it could have been a really cool movie based on its premise, but unfortunately it's not that great, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you and explaining why in this movie review. So from a storyline point of view, three characters are on board a ship going to Mars on a bit of a 2-year mission when they suddenly find out that a fourth member is unexpectedly on board the ship as well. This fourth member has been entangled with a device that is supposed to be sucking out all of the carbon dioxide from the ship, which means that there is only enough oxygen for three of them. The film then explores what these characters are going to do next and seeing how they are going to try and survive this situation. Now, from a positive point of view, it was really intriguing in terms of the moral questions that this film was posing, in terms of, do you sacrifice yourself or do you kill someone else in order to further your own survival? However, from a negative point of view, it was just really poorly executed. I mean, it was trying to be tense and it was trying to be character driven, but unfortunately it was just not doing either of those things and was a little bit of a mess. And whilst it was trying to be really interesting in terms of what these characters are going to do, it was just not really realising the brilliant premise that I had on the table. And so from a storyline point of view, there was just a lot of unrealised potential in Stowaway. So from a cast and characters point of view, I really like the fact that these characters were only focused on the 4 crew members within this ship, and they had brilliant cast members playing all of these different characters. So let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Toni Collette, who is playing the no-nonsense commander marina character within this ship, and she really cares about all of her crew members, and you can really feel the burden on her shoulders in terms of what she's going to do in this situation, and you can really tell who she is prioritizing as well. Next up we have Daniel Day Kim, who is playing the character of Daniel, the biologist on the ship, and we all remember him from playing the Jin character in the popular Lost series. And it's really interesting from this character's point of view, as well as all of his work is potentially going to be compromised in order to create the artificial oxygen that they all need to survive. Next up we have Anna Kendrick, who is playing the Zoe character. She's really hopeful, really positive, really humanitarian, and she is on the ship as she is a bit of a medical researcher, and she has a brilliant scene with Michael, the Stowaway character, where she's really helping him to calm down and to lower his breath so that he's able to relax, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And then speaking of which, we finally have Shamier Anderson, who is playing the Michael character, the accidental stowaway, and you can just really tell and feel the uncomfortableness and the awkwardness that the characters have to go through when they learn about the very terrifying situation that they're all in. So the situation and the cast members are pretty great in this movie, but like I said, unfortunately the characters are just not that developed, and so when they're in these very life or death type situations, you just don't really feel anything for them because they didn't grow and develop the characters, unfortunately. So while the cast members are great, the characters unfortunately are not that impressive. So from a visuals point of view, whilst it is really believable that all of the characters are in these very cramped spaceship type situations, it just doesn't look that impressive. Even the scenes when they actually go into outer space is just not that awe-inspiring. I mean, if you compare it to Passengers, wow, that movie looked absolutely incredible. The spaceship itself, the space scenes themselves, the jeopardizing situation when they actually hit a comet as well, everything looked super impressive in Passengers, but unfortunately in Stowaway, the visuals are just not that captivating. So from a comparison point of view, while Stowaway definitely does do its own thing, it's pretty uneventful like Transcendence, which had such a brilliant premise, but just did not realise it at all, which is exactly the same situation in Stowaway. That being said, I think there are other movies that you can compare it to within this genre, such as Midnight Sky, such as Ad Astra, such as Gravity, such as Life. So there are other movies that you can compare Stowaway to. Like I said, it does do its own thing, unfortunately it just doesn't do it that well, which is pretty disappointing for this movie. So overall, I'm sure you can imagine, I was hoping and expecting so much more from Stowaway. You know, it had a brilliant cast associated with it, a really interesting premise, and I just thought it was going to be really impressive. I was just really disappointed, and I just thought it was really boring and really uninspiring, and ultimately I just felt like they didn't really realise the potential that they had in this movie. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.